members of each committee. That was on Friday with our Mambo system management or administrators that were teaching us about Mambo and our security. Cette semaine, nous avions eu une réunion avec les gens de Mambo System, avec nos dirigeants, les directeurs et aussi les membres des comités. La semaine prochaine aussi, nous aurons la réunion, cette fois-ci avec, le CBDA, la trésorerie d'ici en Afrique du Sud. Nous sommes embarqués dans cette phase de training un peu avancée parce que nous devons enregistrer notre coopérative. Et la Banque centrale a préféré nous donner ces leçons avant que nous puissions être enregistrés. Donc, la semaine prochaine encore, ce seraient les leaders et les membres des comités. Nous allons participer à 3 trainings avec la Banque centrale. So, so next week, again, we will be having 3 training sessions with the Reserve Bank. This is because we are embarking on a new journey. We need to register our cooperative and we need to have a license to start operating. So I'm gonna hand over the hand to Mr. Lukovi Seke. He's the chairman for our education committee. So he's gonna take over. We did some of these sessions last year. Now that we have many members, we would like to get all the members on the same boat. We want all of us to understand where we are, what we are doing, where we are going. So, nous voulons, comme nous sommes dans la dernière phase de nos préparations, je vais passer la parole à Monsieur Lukovi Seke. Il est le chairman de la commission d'éducation de notre CoopCongo. L'année passée, nous avions fait quelques leçons sur les coopératives, tout. Maintenant que nous avons beaucoup de membres et bientôt nous allons nous enregistrer, nous voulons assez que la majorité d'entre nous, ou bien tous les membres, aient la connaissance des bases des coopératives. Alors, je vais passer la parole à mon chairman du département que je fais aussi partie, Monsieur Lukovi Seke. Merci.
Yeah, good evening, dear brothers and sisters. I'm going to take you through the presentation, as I say, by Papa Eddie. And I'm Lukovi Seke. I'm the acting chairman of the Education Committee. And as we said it clearly, we have to go through trainings and knowing that the requirement is to reach 200 members. So the way we are moving, things are becoming serious. We have to take off and to register. So what I'm going to do today is to share with you some information on the creation, the meaning of a cooperative. So those are some of the sessions we had in 2020. So now the aim is that we start sharing those knowledge internally for us to be well prepared when someone can ask us questions. So first of all, we are part of CoopCongo, and this association focusing on fintech is part of the NACFISA. We'll show the acronym later. So this is a financial cooperative for Congolese people, and mainly those living in Southern Africa and around the world. So we are starting with those who are mainly in South Africa, and we also have members who are beyond our borders. So the agenda of the presentation today, we have introduction, member training, book 1 and 2. We are going to go through a review of that, and the books will also be shared via the inbox, via the chat box. So you can still download it. Time will come when we share those 2 books, but we need to prevent you from going through them now, as we are going to be taking you through very quickly. And later on, we are going to let you ask questions. And I'm not the only one who can respond to questions. We have also a member of our executive committee, is Mr. Mpasamat, engineer, Dr. Mpasamat, and engineer Njeka Eddie. So being part of the executive is also part of the dedication committee. So introduction. So CoopCongo development phases based on Bruce Tuckman for distinct phase of team development. So we have to go through those steps: forming, storming, norming, performing. And in terms of the vision we have for CoopCongo, we need to reach at least 20 million in terms of our share. So the reason being is that 1 share to date equal to 10 rand. And since we are saying that we have a total of 2 million shares, so we are assuming that once all those who love to become shareholder can acquire them, so we'll reach a total capital of 20 million. So the expectation based on the trend we can see here, over the next 5 years of the lifespan from the time where everything takes off, we can say that the expectation is to reach 3 million members. So at the beginning, we were assuming that for year 1, we need to reach 200 members, but 2021 is not year 1. But the good information is that even though it's not year 1, we already reached 206 members, meaning that we have the requirement that we did reach in terms of registering our association.
Mr. Chairman.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, je voudrais juste demander aux membres, is it okay to speak only in English, or should we mix English and French? I don't know what do they think, please.
No, I think it's okay. We can continue with one language in English or in French, whether we decide English or French, because changing languages, French, English, it can consume time and also des affaires de fil d'idée, quoi. Je pense que peut-être continuer soit en français directement ou soit en anglais, it's fine. I don't know.
Merci beaucoup. Qu'est-ce que les autres membres pensent? What do you think? Continuer avec l'anglais?
I'm seeing Mike Monza saying French to accommodate everyone. I don't know if we can just swap in French. Is still okay? I don't have a problem. Is it okay?
The reason why I'm asking, la raison que je pose la question, parce que nous avons aussi nos jeunes frères et sœurs dans CoopCongo. Ils ont grandi ici en Afrique du Sud et parfois ils ont encore un peu de difficultés en français et tout. The reason I'm asking is we do have our younger brothers and sisters, our children. They grew up here and they do have some difficulties sometimes for English or so, or I mean for French or so. So I don't know if there's somebody, if everyone is comfortable with either languages, maybe you can just say. So because so far I think I have one Dr. Miki saying we go with French, and the previous person, sorry, I didn't get the name. He said we could either language, either French or English. So are we comfortable with any language?
Okay, then it's better for me. Let me just go to French. But the challenge we have, as you said, we have some of our beloved one who are here, who did grow up in South Africa, so it might be also challenging. But what I can still do is explain in French when it is really crucial. Sorry for really not taking part of taking into consideration of those logical aspects. But probably in the future, we need to accommodate both languages. I think it would be much better. Sincere apology for that.
But what I can say is if we're giving a presentation, let's say in French, but somebody wants a more clarification in English or so, please do not hesitate. Our aim is to get everyone on board and to get everyone to understand and to know, to see where we're going. Okay, so I will leave you, Mr. Chairman, to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Idi. So I was saying that the expectation within a time frame of 5 years for CoopCongo is to reach 3,000 members. And what we are saying is to make sure that our own family members and our beloved one, those who are in our surrounding, to join this cooperative. The observation within the Congolese community is that we have a spirit of bullying, undermining others, and saying that the thing would not take off, and we should stop that. So let us assume that this is an opportunity given to us, at least as Congolese. We know that we are not permanent in this country. Some of us are already South African, that's great, but we will still be reminded that we're from here. But we have also to recognize that this is a second home for us. So we have to do something to save our beloved brother and sister who are here. And for those who already got the opportunity to be in this country as a citizen or having an ID, let us leverage on all the opportunity that we can have in such an environment to make sure that we put something together and we can smile together as well. So as I was saying, the intention is to, sorry, it did freeze. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear
Thank you. Yes. So the intention, let me apologize, I'm fix the slide. I'm having problem with the slide. Let me stop sharing and then share again. Okay. Sorry, it's still giving me a problem. Yes, there I am. Yes, so I was saying that the intention to reach 3,000. So we already moved beyond the 200 by 6 members. So we have 206. And the intention as well by having such a number is to make sure that as we register in paying 1.2 thousand, this is something that should be a once-off payment. Because if we have to divide it by 100 rand per month, if someone cannot make it the following month, then our admin costs will be really put in jeopardy. We cannot cover properly. So by reaching 200 members, so it means that each year we have 240,000 rand to be used as to cover all our operation, the way everything we can do. So the membership fees of 100 rand is not related to what we have to do as a business, but to sustain our visibility, our operation, and so forth. So if we can still reach that maximum we are having today of 3,000, we can still go beyond. Then each year we can have 3,600,000. And as a cooperative, we are not saying that by the time we reach 3,600,000 rand per year, we should force members to continue contributing from our General Assembly last time, we say a point will reach a point when it might not be compulsory anymore to pay the membership fees. So, and we will see which policy, which approach we can consider for us to change it to another service or product. Okay, so there we have the share in terms of share. So we are expecting that we can reach it easily 7 million and beyond. And in having those shares, it does mean that this what we would be having, because those shares should be fructified to our operation. We have to invest this money and to make sure that those who are having those shares could just have some return on investment. So we need to be ready for full operations. And that's the reason why we are repeating the same content that has been shared by the executive committee with us. And then being the education committee is our responsibility time to time to go to take you through this process. So our organization structure is presented as follows. You were having the General Assembly, because the General Assembly is the boss of what we are doing. And the General Assembly is a platform where we have all the members, and we meet during extraordinary or ordinary meeting. And power from the General Assembly is given to the Board of Directors. And Board of Directors are really overseeing what is happening on in terms of operation. But the Board of Directors is not the one handling the daily business. So we need to have an executive committee. So, and before the executive committee, when we have the Board of Directors is supported by different committees. And we have the education committee where I'm acting, and we have members, we have the saving committee, we have the loan committee, we have the membership committee, and we have the policy committee. So, and in terms of control supervisory committee, so they are also really helping with regard to most of the aspects we have. So the control and the advice as well. So in terms of employees, and those who are employees, they are really they are managed by the executive committee. So there we are assuming we should have a manager, an accountant, cashiers, and officers. These will go with time. And as we are now, what is happening, we need a visibility, and we should have someone in the office, is why we are having the membership fees. And our intention is to use our brother, sisters who are looking for internship for them to graduate. So, so that's the way of helping ourselves as we are moving now. So we have to be conditioned to be recognized as a cooperative in South Africa as per the law. So the first one, we need a minimum of 200 members to register. So through the effort of the current executive committee with the support of all committees, so we managed to reach 260 members. So it means we already went beyond the limit. So it means now we can be recognized by the central bank. And I'm not confirming, but I'm very hesitant that some of the agencies we have in South Africa, especially for Congolese transferring money in DRC, they already registered with the central bank, are really down. So we are just doing it based on trust that I can give them money, they can give to my beloved brother and sister and family in DRC, in Lubumbashi, especially all the provinces of the country. But the beauty of our cooperative is that being recognized by the central bank, there is a possibility for us to explore all the services that the central bank recognize. So if we have Western Union today, with all the remittance we are observing all over around the world, why not ourselves to start relying on the expertise we have among our brothers and sisters who are very qualified in this field of banking to also support our cooperative? So trust is already there because we are checking on ourselves. We don't need someone who can compromise with the future of this cooperative to be among those who might be leading. And the General Assembly also has the power to say that we are not happy with ABCD. In terms of finance, as we said, we already managed to reach, we went beyond 100,000 into the bank, so that we have statement for those who attended the General Assembly. You saw what we are having to date. So endless opportunity indeed. As I said, this is an opportunity given to us. We are in South Africa, and some of us have the document and helping us to register. And as you are attending at this meeting, so all of you, you are really legal. And even those who are not legal, we have to help them because they are brother and sister. That is a hope, the aim. Banking platform for Congolese worldwide, so that will come with time, and we can even come with joint venture. But as we are in South Africa, we should first comply with the law and see how we can take off accordingly. And we have products. Those products we can save. People are getting some minimum wage, and they can keep that in our cooperative and giving to people or giving to other foreign fellow brothers and sisters, but let us trust ourselves and then start helping ourselves. So we can put that in a 32-day account, and we have a credit product, short-term, long-term, and that would also be translated in loan. So we know that even some of the firms today, they can also have loan, and you have to contribute. You have to be aware that you have a salary, and then you can even take loan. Someone can take loan through you, and you can just give a guarantee. So that's the philosophy behind credit, and we don't need to borrow people money and then they just disappear. So that's something we have to really consider accordingly. So community product, medical assistance, funeral assistance, this is something else we can also offer because we are observing that people can die, but when it comes time to bury, it's very expensive. So those are some of the aspects. And then we also realize medical aid today, even for students, for those who are having Ingwe, you know that when you are a Congolese, they will tell you, when you are a foreigner especially, they will tell you have to pay something like 5.7 or 6,000 francs per year upfront for you to get the medical aid. By the time we register and recognize by the central bank, we can offer something affordable to our community. We are not saying that when you have a medical aid, you are always sick, but the problem is that insurance is based on the law of big numbers. So it means that they can still generate money, but when diseases appear, you cannot control that. So there is a possibility for us to rely on our colleagues, brothers and sisters within the communities who have that expertise, and then we can also give that medical aid scheme. So funeral assistance, so that's something that has been presented to us through the network of medical doctors, and we are seeing how we can leverage on that to offer it to the community. So let us review book number 1, what is a cooperative? We are saying that according to the international standard, defining a cooperative is an autonomous entity where people declare to be together on a voluntary basis because they have a common agenda, economic, social, or cultural. But for us, we know that it's economic, so it's not only social because we are not an NGO where we have just supporting one another. So the current trend is that we cannot just continue supporting one another because we cannot always spend at making sure that we sustain our money. So the issue is that being a cooperative, we are focusing more on the economic aspect, and we need to turn what we are putting. So turnover is very important. And we need to own this cooperative collectively, and we need to be very democratic, not imposing on others. And it means that we have to listen to those who can raise concern and to make sure that we have to reach consensus. So in French, as we say, an enterprise is where people, 2 or 3, can just decide to put something together and expecting to get a benefit. And that benefit could be negative or positive, and they can just share that responsibility. But the expectation when we are putting something together is always to be positive, to gain something as we go on. That's the only way to be realistic. And that's why we have share, and we can never put all the eggs in one basket. So we are not asking you to put all your 100,000 rand you have in your savings in a cooperative, but if you feel that you can put 20,000 and you see that it's going very well, then up to you. With time, you can put more than what you have. So that's the reason behind the share, meaning we are sharing the responsibility, we are sharing the risk, we are sharing what we have as capital, and we are sharing everything. And we also share the smile when we have a profit. What is a cooperative financial institution? Is an umbrella. The umbrella term is a member-based deposit-taking financial cooperative owned and controlled by the member who have a common bond. So we have a common vision. We have a common bond. We need to be one. So we have others, other type of cooperative that we observe. They are called credit union, savings and credit cooperative, financial service cooperative, and financial cooperative. Okay, future of cooperative financial institution play a fundamental role in financial inclusion and access. Encourage members to save regularly because saving is very important. Sometimes people can have money in pocket when they don't know where to put that money. They can start by anything, you know. So let us have the philosophy of knowing how to save. Maybe we don't have the culture of saving. Because as you know, in most of the economy, why people are investing is because they are borrowing for those who saved. So when you save and people will borrow from you, they invest, then the payment is a minimum interest, which will just compensate the risk of you penalizing yourself, not touching your money for a while, and then you deserve something in return. And we can provide loan at low rates because what is happening at the bank, the interest rate might be very high. So we have people among us or in other communities, when the economy is not going well and people are losing jobs, they can repossess if you didn't secure a backup for you to pay back. So at least if we have a low interest rate, it will be very helpful for our community. So we need to help those in need financially through advisors and assistance. So run by a member known to the community, because as we are here, we are all people from the community, the Congolese community, and we have to build everything on trust in order to attract new members, because if there is no trust, it's very difficult to attract new members. So income generated is brought back into community project and service to benefit members. So it means that by the time we generate income, so we can just expand our services in a way that we have other services, and those services could just have also some return. Adherence to the cooperative principle is key. We have a common bond, so we should have the same spirit, because we make the cooperative financial institution risk saving. So can be competitive, okay, lower operating margin, competitive with, other microfinance institution. Okay, so we have some principle. We are going to take you through the 7 principles of a cooperative. So the first principle is voluntary and open membership. So we don't force people to join. By force, you have to join, so that is not kind. We have to convince them based on trust and a very open membership. So because people should accept to adhere to our services, and they have to accept the responsibility of being member. So we don't consider the tribe, we don't consider your political party, even though we know that religion and politics can divide people, but our intention is to remain apolitical and non-racial, and then also we don't need to focus on a specific religion. So we have to avoid all those type of discrimination. So democratic member control, cooperative and democratic organization indeed. So everyone should participate and then be bound to the policy we have. So we are accountable to members, and we have to be equal even in terms of vote. No one might have more power and veto, even though you put more in terms of share, you don't have more power than those who didn't put much than you did. So members' economic participation. So it is important to receive a compensation. Okay, so because we are putting something, benefit is quite key. So it's important to get that. Autonomy and independence. Cooperatives are autonomous. Okay, and we are cooperatives should be controlled by members. Okay. So they have to enter into agreement, and it's up to us now to convince the government, since we are going to sign an agreement with the Reserve Bank. So I think for us is something very great. Education, training, and information. Cooperative provide education as we are doing today and training for their members. This is not the first time, this is not the last time either. So it's a responsibility to take you through those sessions more often. So because we need to contribute to awareness as time goes on and to inform everyone about what we are doing, especially the younger one who should replace us one day, and also understand what we are doing about the nature, being a member, and the benefits they can get in being part of this financial gathering. Cooperation among cooperatives serve their member most effectively and strengthen the cooperative movement by working together. So we can really link up with those who are in America, those who are in the UK, so those who are in the SADC region, even though we are saying that we have to support those in the SADC region, but we know that others might be in the ECOWAS region. We have other Congolese that side. So it's up to us to see how we can reach and then also cooperate. Concern for community while focusing on member need, cooperative work for the sustainable development of their community through policy accepted by their members. So we have to make sure that our community is well respected. As we are today, we are among the few community where they rely on us that we are honest, we don't steal. Even when you go in some malls, security guard, they rely on Congolese because of our virtue. But we can still have some isolated cases where we cannot control, but indeed, you don't find Congolese stealing in South Africa because we came really to struggle and to succeed. There is a difference between a cooperative and a company. As you can see in the table here, above you have ordinary or traditional businesses, below you have cooperative, On top, in terms of ownership, you have one owner or partners, but in case of a cooperative, we have members, okay? And in terms of benefits, for a company, they have profits and they can share that profit after paying tax, the remaining, they can divide that to what they did put, prorate. It will be a prorated division of benefit, but other companies, sometimes they don't even agree on redistributing the profit. They just recapitalize that profit to make the company stronger. And in other countries as well, what they do for the sustainability of that institution or that firms, they will make sure that even employees, they can ask them a portion of the salary if they are willing, so they can capitalize a portion of their salary, making them owner. So then it's very difficult for those type of companies seeing people toy-toying. And in the case of Japan, where you are seeing company taking very long because those are family companies and people believe that we have to die in this, we can never compromise with is stability. So control, owner, and majority partners. And for us, in terms of benefit, we have a profit and we have patronage fees. So equally by members, one vote when it comes to control. So, but in terms of firms, the one who's putting much is the one who should control because it's risky when you put, let's say, $5 billion and other people putting just 1 million. So you have the veto to say, I don't need this to happen. So starting a cooperative in South Africa. So the first thing to do, let us first be having a community which is well structured. That's how we started, and you are part of that. Today we are discussing, we did move ahead from the basic, and we have decided a common bond and assess support, develop a business plan, training and support, write up your policy, holding a formation meeting, okay, and applying for registration. So we are there. And launch your cooperative. So that is very hard at the beginning, but at least everything will take off as expected. And the benefit to members, so we have benefit that we cannot touch, those are intangible, you feel that you belong to that community. You are proud that our community is really moving. We have a cooperative in Congo, of Congolese in South Africa. So we can transfer money in DRC. We can find a mechanism, being a cooperative recognized here. Someone can send you money, you are a student, you get your money here, and we can have another way of getting what your parents are putting there. So even this issue of purchasing, and then someone needs a guarantee, so all those aspects could be done. And so those are part of the service that we can still explore. Community participation and mutual assistance is very key. So community development and advancement, as we say, we need to consider our brothers who are willing to have internship, and then they don't know where to go, and we can still welcome them as part of our community to do their internship and then to graduate. Community-based social safety network is very key as well. So in terms of tangible benefits, so the cooperative itself, something which is there, okay, member to equity in terms of chair, member program and events when we organize events. So those something we can just feel that this CoopCongo. Member service in line with community needs, saving loan plans, medical support, funeral support, study loan, bank card, or the product, okay? So it might happen that you have to pay your fees and the parents are not ready yet. They might send money in 45 days. So there is a possibility to get that loan from the cooperative. And then once the parent pay, you have to pay with an excess that is acceptable because you have been borrowed money. You need to repay with to compensate the risk. We have dividend and patronage fee, as we said before, when we're making the distinction between a firm and a cooperative. Review of Book 2, duty and function of board members. This is the last segment before we open the floor for questions. So we have some duties and function of board members, okay? Establishing the organization mission and purpose, management team, okay, selection, support, review, organizational planning, monitoring and managing financial resources, assessing and developing skills, serve on committees. All those are duties we have. Recruiting new board members, and even recruiting new members as you saw the committees. Spread the word about the organization. Time commitment, so it's very important. Commit time is why we reach a point based on membership. Some people should be rewarded because they are dedicating their time. Maintaining organizational integrity is very key for us. So in terms of board members, so election, we have a mandate of the term is 3 years, could be renewed, and that should be done through election. So board member can make it succeed or fail. So over dominant, ambitious CEO or managing director. So board not informed of its duty responsibility. So we have to be very careful because if the board is not informed about what you have to do, it's risky. And if we have insufficient internal financial control, we cannot trust too much, it's not a good. Absence of adequate business plan, so we cannot just be like people, you don't have a plan, they give you 1 million, and then you don't know where to start. The first thing you do, you buy a vehicle, while you can buy a property and then start getting award, some return on investment on that. Inadequate stock control level, it could also push a cooperative to collapse. Bad credit control leading to losses, because when you are giving money to people as a loan, you have to have mechanism to retrieve that loan and what you are giving outside. If reliance on borrowed money, so we need to be very careful. This is not a church, it's not NGO, so this is a cooperative. So here business should be done. So too rapid expansion, sometimes when people are excited and then people can also become emotional. And then by the time you are just celebrating, you collapse because you don't control yourself anymore. So it's very important really to control the genesis of this establishment, because when the thing goes very quick up and then people cannot manage properly, excited, then it's easy to collapse easily. It's easy to collapse, as I said. So, yeah, how does the cooperative work? So we were saying that membership per year is 1.2. Each member should contribute, and that will support the admin fees and to run the cooperative bank operation. So we need to have a place where we can really rent. By the time we're having this initial slide, the share for director was 5 Rand, but that is no longer the case. This thing has been reviewed, so you just forget what we have there as a share 10 rand, 5 rand. So the sale, we have to pay a payment that will constitute the capital. So in the journey, we have a member to recruit, and members should pay annual fees. And beyond the annual fees, members should also buy shares. As we're saying, the minimum is 200 members, and the expectation is to have a minimum of 100,000 capital at the bank. So we have our bank statement, we have a bank account. So those, as I said, will attend the General Assembly, so all those information. And the Reserve Bank will give us a certificate.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think this, maybe we can come back to it in some other session, because we don't have much time for open time. I think maybe we should do questions from members.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Engineer Edi. So, dear brothers and sisters, we would like to express our sincere gratitude for your attention. So this time for you to ask questions. So we are ready for you, and as part of education process and the sharing experience. So this is the time for us to let you speak to us, to ask questions, and what we can also learn from you in terms of improving our way of being a very respectable cooperative of Congolese in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. If members, you can just raise your hand. And remember, this is a dialogue. It's still a dialogue, even though as education committee, we're taking over more and more. The aim is, as we're going toward our operations, we want each committee to start operating as we should. And our organization, our CoopCongo, must now start operating as an ordinary enterprise. So this is the aim. So, and usually during this time, we ask questions for any issue, anything that may concern us, or we can also voice appreciations and so on. So the floor is open now. You can just raise your hand, and then you can speak to us. You can ask questions. Let us have our dialogue. Thank you. You may also post your questions in the chat, so we will address everything. The floor is open. Let us talk. Let us have a dialogue. Thank you, Dr. Polycarp. You may go ahead. Just unmute yourself.
Yes. Good afternoon. I wanted to find out. Probably I didn't get it clearly. If the speaker can just clarify. He said in terms of control for cooperative, it's 1 member, 1 vote. But at the same time, he was saying that if you invest differently, well, if somebody invests more, then you'll have the control. Was that for the normal business, or is that for cooperative? Or is cooperative, it's regardless of the amount you invest, you don't have any, you cannot like influence decision? Just to clarify that issue. That's the first question. The second question, or just an idea, I wanted to find out whether are we planning like to have to have some kind of branches in DRC, even if it's not as a cooperative. It can be, it can be some kind of business any type of business which will be based in DRC, but with connection to the cooperative. And maybe when we are a bank, then we should have some branches that side, or another, a corresponding, company to be operating in DRC, but connected to the cooperative, which I believe the headquarters will be in South Africa. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Polycarp. And first of all, I would like to emphasize the fact that the reason specified that when someone is having more power in a company, the person has a veto, and that is not the case in a cooperative. So regardless of what one can put in terms of share, if it's beyond others, it doesn't mean that that person has a veto. The second point, I think we support your question, and that question is really aligned to what we're having in our mind, all of us. Let's say if we have a pharmacist in this cooperative of ours, why not to have what we call in French, Dépôt Pharmaceutique CoopCongo in Kinshasa? Those are some of the things we can have. Why not to have a polyclinic? Those are some of the things, but it's not up to us from the education committee. We have to listen to our brother and sister from the investment committee to give us the package, and they feel that we need to consider this. And remember, those committees are not masters, or are not autonomous. They have to rely on the General Assembly. So everything should be put on the table as well. For the General Assembly, members should agree upon, saying, okay, by the way, we are seeing that people are saying we have to establish something in Victoire or Gombe that belong to CoopCongo. What is the intention? So if the majority can say, okay, let us give it a try. And if we cannot put all the egg in one basket, let us find if we can have another company in Kinshasa, we can come up with a joint venture. So at least if something happens, we cannot regret too much. So those are principles of business. But not all the committee can just come and assume we are the best we can impose, or we feel that this can be implemented. So we need to team up with the investment committee. And by the time also we have a very good idea based on your network and also your experience, we can still leverage on something happening. Why not also to convince even South African we are here in real estate, saying we are a cooperative of Congolese here, so we need to build in DRC. So you have money, but we need to go with you because we are Congolese. So let us have a joint venture. Let's go there. You can put your capital, and we can assist you to sell those properties. And why not member of the cooperative start buying? And we can sell, asking Congolese, please come and buy. So those are some of the benefit we can see on that, because by the time we are more than 200, we can fight for our rights. Because if someone need to go alone, you can go fast, you get rich, but if we are so many, we can get a little bit, but at least something can be sustained. So I think your idea is really in line with the vision of the cooperative.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Quelqu'un d'autre a quelque chose à dire, une question, une suggestion? The floor is open, please. We left with 5 minutes, so maybe you can just speak to us as we move on.
Yes, thank you very much once more. I would like to thank you all for giving us this opportunity as the Education Committee to speak to you and for the trust you are having on us. So our intention is to be coming back to you on a regular basis and sharing some of what we have as information, and the time will even come where we can also share with you some policies, the content we have. So this is not, as I said, the first event, it's not the last one. We are going to meet again. So we took you just through the first and the second book with regard to what a cooperative should be and who should be working there. So we thank you for that, and to not abuse your time, we just need to focus on the 60-minute time because we know that you have other commitment, so we cannot keep you for so long. I think 60 minutes is quite enough. And with those few words, I need to hand over to the executive committee because they are the one who coordinated the process and for allowing our committee to speak to you. So I need to hand over to them. Maybe they have additional information to share with the audience. Thank you once more for everything, and may the Lord bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Before I hand over to our chairman for a word of thank and closure, I just wanted to let the leaders and members of committees in the group that we sent the information for our training on Tuesday and Wednesday. And we will have also another training on Friday, 6 o'clock. And this is with the this time with the treasurer, with the Reserve Bank. So please avail yourself for those training for Tuesday. I think I sent the time already, 10 o'clock in the morning. Wednesday, 10 o'clock. And for Friday, that will be 6 o'clock. I will send the invitation as soon as we receive the invitations from the Reserve Bank. So I will hand over the word to the chairman of the executive to tell us a word before we close. Thank you.
No, it is with a great pleasure that we'll share this 1 minute just to say thank you to the Education Committee for starting this journey. And thank you to our members who are participating. And we look forward to a greater commitment, a greater movement for us to build a greater bank that will be sustainable for our community, for generation to generation. Merci beaucoup à tout le monde pour la participation. Nous sommes très contents et nous sommes certains que ensemble nous irons très loin pour bâtir une banque solide et très soutenue par nous-mêmes, par nos membres de la communauté pour que ça aille des années en années. Merci, bonne soirée. Back to you, Mr. Secretary General.
Merci beaucoup. En fermant, please just check in your chat. Il y a un lien où il y a la documentation. La semaine prochaine, nous allons liser en avance book 3. Nous allons faire notre training là-dessus. Merci beaucoup et bonne soirée. Merci à vos familles. Bonne soirée.
Merci. À vous. Merci, bonsoir à tous. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.